Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the Edmonton Business Show. I have Janice Baskin on right now. We've been connecting for quite some time on Instagram, and I'd like you to get to know her, to know what she does here in Edmonton, what kind of customers that she wants to attract, and a little bit more about how her and her husband got started in her business. So,
yes, thank you for having me. I'm very, very excited.
You're welcome. So how did you and your husband get started? Did you go to school for interior design, or is it something that you eventually picked up along the way in your career?
So this is actually next week, all my Instagram is going to be about this, because frequently asked question is, yes, am I an interior designer? I'm not an interior designer.
Okay.
My husband purchased the company in 1997, so 23 years ago, with his aunt, who was an interior designer. And he and I met and married 10 years ago. So that's when his aunt started to retire. I started to come into the business really as just like a helper. I did some odd jobs here and there. And then when she retired, I came in bought her half of the company and became 50% owner. So the way that we do things now is we just focus on blinds and shades. So we don't do any interior design work these days, but we're happy always to connect people with wonderful designers, because we do have a lot in our network that we like to work with. And so that allows us to do what we do best. And so it's my job to do the marketing.
Awesome.
So that's why you see me on Instagram much more than you see my husband. And it's his job to do our sales. And then together, we do all of our own installations.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds very exciting. Can you tell our watchers, what's a day in the life of you and your husband? How does it look like when you wake up to the end of the day when you have a client that you're working with?
So Chris and I, that's my husband's name, we're very big on health and wellness, and we believe wholeheartedly that we can't be good at what we do unless we take care of ourselves. So every single day for us starts out with a workout. Well, coffee, then a workout. And he and I actually met at the gym. So this is something that was well established into our lives before we were together. And then depending on the day, we usually split up and come back together at some point. So I might spend my morning doing social media and working on collaborations with partners, whereas he would go out and do any sales appointments that we've had booked. And then we spend time going out to do installations. So for example, today he spent the morning at sales. I did some networking. Then this afternoon, we went and installed blinds into a client's house, and then kind of regroup at the end of the day and do it all again tomorrow.
That's great. And do you have like a certain industry of clients that call you a lot, or is it a wide range of companies and small businesses or residential homeowners?
It's a wide range. We do have a couple of home builders that we've worked for 23 years, both here and in Calgary. And we do work with homeowners directly as well. So we get a lot of everything we do. I shouldn't say a lot. Everything that we do homeowner-wise is by referral. We don't advertise really anywhere. I might boost an ad now and again on Facebook, but other than that, everything we do comes from referral. And then we also have a commercial line of products that we carry. So we can do small retail spaces, daycares, offices, things like that as well.
That's awesome. And I know COVID-19, it hit some people. I can pretty much say that it has increased my business, because a lot of people are realizing now they don't have any kind of online presence, and their competitors that are larger or have been strategic about it, they're a little bit afraid about that. How are you guys doing now? And family-wise, business-wise, you don't have to disclose everything, but how has this period been for you and your family?
So we have 3 kids. We're a blended family. My husband's daughter is grown up and gone away, and she has 3 children of her own. So we're actually grandparents.
Okay.
So we haven't seen our grandkids since February, which is very difficult. And then we have 2 boys as well, who are 14 and 10. So that's been interesting. So that's just, I guess I could put it this way. The first month was really difficult. That first 3 weeks, it was sort of like we weren't sure what was happening with business. We weren't sure what was happening with school. We didn't know, we were sort of out of our routine, and we are creatures of habit, believe me. So being out of that routine was very difficult for us. And, though in the last month, we've really hit a stride. We've found our groove. I was just texting with our sales rep for one of the products that we carry, and we were actually number 2 in Canada in sales.
Wow. That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. So this last month has been wildly busy, and we've had the best clients who've come to us, again, all by referral. So really what it's done is given us the opportunity to really pare down on our target market. And as you may have noticed, really up the social media game and our marketing game, which it's always one of those things that you're like, yes, 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 I need to do it. But you're always so busy doing everything else that it tends to fall by the wayside. So it's been overall, it's been really great for us.
That's good. I have been noticing your stories, and they're quite entertaining. It's almost like a reality show. And I know a lot of people, they just kind of, show stock images and kind of stuff like that. But it's good to see what you're doing behind the scenes with your family, your TikTok videos. And I find it to be quite entertaining. So yeah, keep doing more of that. I like it.
Well, you're a bit of an inspiration for me. You might be the TikTok queen.
Okay, well, that's great. Other than that, I'm curious to know, what's your favorite part of your business? Is it seeing new people? Is it going in and out of different industries? Like, what do you love the most?
I love my life that my business gives me. My husband, so I didn't explain this, but I have a background in psychology, and I was the program director at the YMCA when I left to work with Chris. And when I was working a full-time job outside of the home, I worked late nights. I felt like I was missing out on pieces of my kid's life. I felt like I was, not seeing my husband as much as I would like to. And so, I mean, no one ever really sits around as a child and says, I think I'm going to sell blinds for a living.
Right.
But in a really cool way, it's brought, the best part about it is that it brings me and my husband together in a way that just was never possible before. And then we get to travel together, and we get to do these really cool things together, and we get to begin and end every day together. And for us, that's key. So again, I never thought I would sell blinds for a living, but it certainly is working.
Absolutely. And it's great to know that your referral system is working. Some people cannot thrive without having something online. And unfortunately, some companies don't have the amount of longevity that you have to have like a word of mouth system. So that I can imagine, like, if you meet your marketing goals, you guys will probably have to expand and get more customers. That's just my assumption.
Yeah, we keep our company small by design. So it's just the 2 of us. We used to have, like, a long time ago, before my time, there was staff and designers and a storefront and all that kind of stuff. And so we pared it down on purpose, really to, again, give the lifestyle that we wanted to have. So for us, success isn't necessarily having, 100 staff and a bunch of trucks running around the province. It's more just being able to live the life that we want to live, and make the money we need to do it, and then do what we can to give back to the community. So yeah, we still have room to grow, just being the 2 of us. And then who knows? Who knows where that'll take us? It could take us somewhere that we just never even anticipated.
That sounds exciting. It's always good to talk to people who actually love what they're doing every day because there's a high percentage of people globally that aren't happy with their job or with their circumstances. So it's great to connect with you on that. What are your 5-year goals for your company? Do you and your husband ever kind of project on where you want to see your company go?
Yeah, actually, so for this year, our number one goal was to grow our commercial sector. So we brought on a new product line. We are now certified with the Alberta Construction Safety Association to go onto commercial sites. So we're all compliant with legislation. So the number one goal was to get that certification, which is not easy to do when it was an 18-month process. And then to start growing our commercial portfolio. We did bring on a new product line so that we can give them the right type of product at the right price point. So that was our first two goals. I'd really love to bring on another home builder. Something small though. I think that I really appreciate what a lot of the small infill builders are doing in Edmonton. And I think that working with them, with their clients is just, it's a way for us to do things that are not necessarily the everyday product. People like to get creative when they're building those forever homes. And so those are wonderful people for us to work with. And then the other thing that I have personally is I have giving goals. So I actually track it monetarily in some sense, but I like to know that I have a measurable aspect of how I'm giving back to other business owners and how I'm giving back to the community. And so I have some very specific goals around the things that I'd like to do to be able to give back to other people. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to thank you. Sometimes you're putting on your stories, and I'm like, oh wow, this is unexpected. At least somebody is noticing what I'm doing here. So I appreciate you for doing that, and I'll do more of that for you.
I treat social media, and I think it took me a while to wrap my head around this, but I treat it like a networking event. And so you have to stop selling and start helping, and then it comes back, right? So just forget about the image and forget about selling to people, and just and as soon as I realized that, I'm having a blast with it, and I just love, because it gives me the opportunity to connect with someone like yourself, right? Which otherwise may not have ever happened.
That's right. And is there anything that you want the Edmonton community to know about you, your business, personal aspects, any visions, anybody that you want to recognize at the moment?
Oh, vision. Vision's an interesting one. I've been working a lot on that. I'm a to-do list person. And what I've been doing lately is really just setting out a daily vision of what I want to feel like when the day is over. Wow. So rather than going check, 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 and believe me, that still happens. But I just wake up in the morning and I spend a few minutes and I go, tonight when I get into bed, I'm going to feel, and whether the word is connected or less guilty about taking time for myself, or like I spent more time with my kids, just little things like that. I think that in our business community, we get caught up in the hustle, and the work will never be done, especially if you're good at what you do. Sure. Right? So I think for me, the vision is to, yes, have my task list, and those key measurable things, but it is also so much about just how it feels to be a business owner and how it feels to work with my spouse and work in the business community. I don't know, it's a little frou-frou, maybe warm fuzzies, but that's how my thoughts around vision lately.
I'm going to try that. I've heard that once before, but I never actually implemented it. I should start, after I meditate, I should start thinking about how I want to feel throughout the day. And that might amplify my day even more. So you just gave me some good advice there.
Yeah, and I think I had listened to a podcast or a webinar about it, and she had said, as soon as you start to feel like you're shooting yourself to death, saying, I should do this, I should do that, that's when you know it's time to just bring it back to, something very simple of how do I feel? How do I want to feel? And what are the things I need to do to ensure that I can feel that way?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time and joining the Edmonton Business Show. Can you let our viewers know how you can be reached on social media, your website, your phone number, whatever you're comfortable with sharing?
Yeah. So on social media, at Camelot Interiors is my company site. My personal handle is at Janice Baskin. Baskin, not, it's like Carol Baskin. I know. I used to say like Baskin Robbins. Now my last name has a whole new meaning. So it's Baskin. And our website is www.camelotinteriors.com. And we're on Facebook as well.
Thank you so much for your time today, Janice. Stay tuned to episode 5. I'll be sharing this on Instagram and YouTube. And if you have any recommendations for another entrepreneur, my viewers and Janice, feel free to let me know. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you have a great rest of the year and the rest of your life. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you, Makita. This was wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.